So, my Vinta travel bag broke right as I needed to start traveling again. And it has a lifetime warranty, but they're no longer a company. RIP. So needless to say, I'm going to need another camera travel bag. The Vinta bag was more of an everyday bag, and I haven't really had a full-blown just like camera travel bag in one for a moment. I always just made do with the smaller amount of space, but I'm looking at bigger bags now. It seems like two names kind of dominate the market at this point, like the nomadic camera travel bags, like the Peter McKinnon edition, and the Peak design bags, depending on who you are, depending on what you're going with. Those two seem to dominate the market, and those are both in a like $400+ price range. $400 for like the base bag, and then to get all the extra stuff that goes along with that typically racks the price up closer to $500 after taxes and everything. And I'm not really wanting to go and spend that much, though those bags are nice. I'm sure I'd like love them and everything. I'm looking for a bag more in the $200 price range, in which there's still a Peak design everyday bag, and they make a nomadic bag closer to that, but those are both like smaller kind of everyday bags. I'm looking for like a big, 32+ liter bag, mostly camera gear. If it can fit some clothes and stuff, that's good too. I'd like it to do a little bit of both. I want it to be able to be an everyday bag too, but at the same time, if I need to travel or if I want to go hiking, like I want it to accomplish that as well. So the two bags I'm going to be looking at are more in the $200 price range. It's kind of a nice middle point between bags that I really don't know what I'm getting or aren't really optimized, and bags that are hyper optimized, but they're just like half of $1,000, so I'm not like crazy about doing that. One bag we're going to be looking at is a bag that used to kind of like dominate the market. It's the predecessor to the Lowepro 450 or W450. Don't remember, I'll put it in here so it's correct. And so I'm really interested in the Mark II version of that one, so that's what we have right behind me. And the other one is one that's less talked about. In fact, I didn't even know it really existed until I started researching the last like couple of months, and that is a bag from Pugent called the Omi. Let me check on it. It's the Pugent ONEMO backpack. It's a 25-liter backpack, but it can unzip and expand up to 32 liters. I will say that expansion isn't necessarily for camera stuff. It's actually a separate pouch just right on the front here. And so it's mostly for clothes, making it like kind of a better travel bag. We'll dive more into this, but I'm gonna talk about a few things that I'm kind of looking for in a bag, and I haven't seen anyone really compare these two, and so that's what I'll be doing. I've been hiking with both these bags. I haven't put them through the same paces I'm going to once I really get in there, because I am going to return the bag I'm not planning on keeping and using. Anyway, let's just get into it. I'll kind of just rattle off the talking points of what I'm kind of looking for in this bag, and we'll go from there. First thing I'm going to talk about is the overall build quality of the bags. Both of these bags seem very solid. PGYTECH ONEMO bag kind of has the same vibe as if you've ever felt like a nomadic bag, or if you ever felt the Vinta bags in the past. It's almost that like, it's not really leather, but it's just that kind of like waterproof material. I do expect that this bag will be a little more resistant to kind of just like water and dirt. There's not really a place for dirt to kind of sit in outside of maybe right outside the zippers. These zippers on this bag are also waterproof, so that's like a really nice touch. All in all, the straps feel really good. Everything feels really solid. I will say I am a little bit worried about these zippers. They are the smaller zippers, and I recently, this is the part that broke on my Vinta bag. Now that bag lasted like 3 years, and maybe these zippers are a little better. But overall, I love the look of this bag a lot more. The materials are a lot nicer. We have a lot of good padding here under the straps, on the back of the backpack. There's no really waist strap that comes with this. It does come with some little things labeled waist strap, but you can hook onto these little bitty nylon hooks right here. Though unfortunately with those, it's kind of a pain to take it on and off, and it doesn't provide that much support. It's like a very just thin nylon strap, almost like this piece, but a little bit thicker. This handle on top of the bag is very, very solid. I will say I really like on the PGYTECH One bag, you can tuck these little back strap packs away, and so the back looks a lot cleaner. So if you head into the office or something and you just want it to be like kind of more out the way and not have all the like stringy bits hanging, you can tuck them away so they're not dangling or dipping in any puddles or anything. And this bag, if you put this stuff in it correctly and it's balanced right, you can actually stand this bag up. I do notice with the Lowepro, there's no chance in hell you're gonna stand that bag up. It's gonna fall over on its back or its side. The bottom's just not well rounded. Underneath the bag too, I really like this on the PGYTECH. It's straight up, water will not penetrate this. It's almost just like a piece of rubber. And then we have the rain cover that sits underneath the bottom. Moving on to the Lowepro 450 Mark II. The outside hasn't really changed too much from the previous model. It's just this very like tactical look. It looks good, but it's definitely a different look than the Pugent bag. The Pugent bag, once again, just looks very sleek and kind of more modern. Though if you don't mind the more tactical look of this bag, then looks aren't really a problem. I am a little more partial to this. It just looks a little more sleek and minimal, and it looks you know, it just looks like it'd fit in more environments. This would look good while you were hiking, but it would also look good if you just brought it to the office one day or if you were in a more corporate environment. Aside from the look differences though, this bag feels a bit more sturdy, where this one doesn't feel cheap by any means, but everything on it, it does just feel like if you did have like a sharp object or something that was like grazing against it, like maybe this would tear a little bit. Once again, the zippers are a little smaller, so I don't know how long they would possibly stay on the tracks. Where I heard this was a problem with the old Lowepro bag from some friends, but it seems like it's been fixed here. These zippers are massive on here. These are some like really super industrial zippers. I don't expect these to be breaking. The top of this bag is very, very hard. Unfortunately, at the bottom, we just have some like normal nylon, so it's not gonna be nearly as like water resistant as the rubber at the bottom of this bag. Padding on the back feels like there's much more. It doesn't look nearly as sleek, but in the straps too, it feels like there's probably about 25% to 35% more padding, and then the back, it just looks very, very breathable. The top handle too just has this big piece of rubber, and you have this really nice waist strap on here, which is removable also, which is really something I wish they would have included on this one. Not the little like dinky nylon strap. I really like that it has padding, it can adjust, it can really like grip on to your waist while you're walking with it. And so that's really great if you're gonna be carrying a lot of gear for a long amount of time. You kind of want that extra support on your hips to kind of take it off your lower back. Though on the downside, there is nowhere to tuck these. There is just like a lot of like flappy bits on this bag, which I'm not super a fan of. I wish there was a way to tuck these away. Even on the PGYTECH bag, like even these like little back straps that you use to tighten the straps to your back, even these have like a little place to tuck them away, which is like so killer. Overall on build quality, it's a little bit of a toss-up, kind of more for like the environment that you're going to be in. I do feel like just because this is the version 2 of already a great backpack, that they probably had time to iron out some of the things that were wrong with the first one, as opposed to this one. This is kind of like the first run this guy has. I would say if you're more in like light scattered showers, this one's probably going to hold up a little better for rain and just kind of like, you know, just more easy environments, like a more corporate environment. But if you were gonna like run around and throw this bag around in the woods or something like that, and this bag was gonna take a beating, this one just feels like it has more padding overall and is gonna survive that kind of treatment. Also, just the zippers, while not being like weather sealed like these zippers, they are just like really thick and just on the track, and you can tell they're just gonna last like a really long time. Once again though, this one's not as water friendly as this one's gonna be. Neither one of these are waterproof, so if it starts raining too much, you're gonna wanna use the rain covers that come with both of these. Both of the rain covers stored in the bottom right here. You can access it. But yeah, overall build quality, I would say for like durability, we would go with this guy. I would say for overall just like aesthetic and kind of more like water sealing, we'll go with this one. Next part of these bags we're gonna check out is the inside, starting with the PGYTECH ONEMO. The inside of this one is really nice. You access it kind of sideways, which is not normally how I'm used to accessing a backpack, so that'll take a little bit of adjustment, whereas this one, it zips from the top, it just zips all the way out from the back, and which is something I'm a little more used to, and so there will be a little bit of a learning curve there. I'm sure I'm gonna spend the first like week or two, first few times I use this bag, like trying to look for the zipper and like hitting this little part. The inside is, there's not really a contest in here. I will say I do like the inside of the ONEMO a million times better. Everything in here is more modern. We have a lot more of these kind of thinner pieces, kind of like you would find in something like from Nomadic or from Pink Design. All these flaps that kind of like move down, so you can kind of like layer your bag on how you want it to hold stuff. They're really thin profile, so they like kind of go off to the side whenever you don't need them, so you can keep all the dividers like within the bag, versus like the Lowepro. They're not bad by any means, they're just starting to look a little dated. It's these little like different color orange and gray ones. So both bags are really modular. They just kind of go different ways about it. The Lowepro is super deep, and so it can fit more just like straight up. And I also believe you have more options with the dividers, where the ONEMO doesn't have as many dividers. It's not quite as deep because it saves that extra space, so you can add clothes and all to the front. So if you have really a lot of camera gear and a lot of bigger camera gear, you may want to go with the Lowepro, just might not have a choice. Because this bag is deeper, I really would like to see kind of these like tier system dividers, because this is a bag where it's so deep, having 2 tiers of the bag would almost give you 2 camera bags in one, which would be really sick. But they did decide just to go with kind of like the normal, standard, run-of-the-mill, just dividers. Something the Onemo does come with that the Lowepro does not is this additional bag. It's kind of like just a little daily bag you can bring around with you. It's just like one of the shoulder bags. So if you have a smaller version of your stuff where you want to like leave your backpack maybe in the room and you just want to take a little bit of camera gear out, you can do that. I'm not really much of a fan of the shoulder bags. I never want to bring them. They're just like, I don't like how they just flop around on you and then I'm like kind of worried about it and tracking it all day. Usually I'll just bring my camera in my hand and be done with it and just watch my one camera. But what I do like about this is it does match the overall aesthetic of the bag. If you go with the green one or the black one, that's what you're gonna get. The inside of this bag is really beautiful. Like I just really like this green color. They both can fit a very large laptop, 16, 17 inches easily. What I'm more likely to do with this little shoulder bag though is keep like nothing but drone stuff in it. That's what's in here right now. And then bring it separately from this bag or keep it in this bag, but not like carry it around all the time. If I was driving to like a gig or something like that, I'd probably keep my drone in here, keep that in the car, and just take it out for the drone shots and then pick it up and then have the rest of the camera gear just on my back. I will say the Onemo laptop slot is a little hard to get out because of the way this opens and only hinges this way. I don't find like there's quite enough room on this side and it can't go all the way down, so you almost do have to unzip the whole bag to get to your laptop, whereas the Lowepro opens up from the top like traditionally. You can like just put it down as much as you need on each side, unzip this one, and then take your laptop out. Also, how Lowepro on the laptop sleeve does include these giant clear kind of zippers. So at a glance, you can kind of see what you have. It's almost like having 2 clear think tank bags just posted right up against your laptop, as opposed to we have nothing of the sort like that on the Onemo. Now in the Onemo, there is a little bit of an X factor. There's actually this little slot to keep batteries in, and they have little indicator sliders that you could slide back and forth. So if one of your batteries is dead, you can flip it to dead, slip it in there, take a new battery out that's on green, and then whenever it's dead, flip it to dead. And so it's got a nice little battery management system. It also has one of the RFID protection slots right here, so your electronics can't get like stolen or anything like that. No one can like scan your phone, which is quite nice. Now as far as it goes for interior, once again, we've kind of got like a tie in some ways, because it's like it depends on what matters to you. Both of these bags have a good bit of utility. Would you like just more space and more customization with dividers, easier access to your laptop, and these little transparent bags that you can kind of see all your stuff? Or would you prefer to have like the kind of utility things like the battery deck and just the nicer interior overall and the nicer kind of more modern dividers? If that's your jam, then you know the Onemo's the way to go. The Onemo's definitely going to win the aesthetic category pretty much all the time in all these tests. And what I'm finding is the Lowepro unfortunately seems to start winning just the overall like utility, comfortability as well, which is something we're going to explore next. Moving on to kind of comfort, having hiked with both these bags almost simultaneously, I will say, unfortunately, in pretty much every way, the Lowepro 450 is more comfortable by far. The padding on here, while it doesn't look pretty and sexy while you're looking at it, it does not make your back sweat. It has a lot more ventilation, and then with the waist strap and the padding, it's just so much more comfortable. If you're taking this thing on hikes or having to carry this thing around on your back and running and gunning and you're not leaving your bag in one place, this is going to be much kinder to your back. Whereas this aesthetically looks good, and I would say I would go more with this once again if I wasn't carrying my bag all around all day. If I just carried it to the gig, had a nice place to park it, and then was taking my gear out of it and working, I'd probably just go for the aesthetic. But overall, like usability, Lowepro is going to win this one. We do have these nice handles on the side of the Onemo as well, so you can like carry it. Although this is kind of like one-sided, the handle's only on this side. Flipping over to the left side, this is the side where you'll be able to quickly access all of your camera gear. And the only problem is it's only on the left side. You don't get to choose left or right. So if you're left-handed or right-handed, you're kind of like stuck in this way, being like more comfortable. And I understand why they did this with design. The battery indicators are on this side, and so it made sense that they would just kind of lean in all to this side, keep the bag a slimmer profile, and put the tripod on that side. But it's one of those things where it's kind of forcing you to use it one way, and you don't have that versatility, which is kind of like the running theme of this bag. Is this bag is great if you're going to use it exactly how it's designed, but as far as versatility, it's not quite there. Another thing I love on the straps of the Onemo is these kind of expandable straps of different sizes, and this is actually to keep lens caps in It actually holds your lens cap really snug in here, which I do love, because instead of throwing the lens cap in my pocket or something like that, where I'm constantly having to take it out, or if I got to sit down, if it's in my backpack, I got to take it out, I can just keep it on the bag and it stays really snug. I haven't had any problems with this coming loose or anything like that, which has been really nice. And that's just another really nice touch that the Onemo has, which makes me love it. And I can't believe I don't hear more about it. It's kind of like a niche bag. Like I said, everyone's pretty obsessed with the Peak design and the Matic travel bag, so those get like so much press. But I'm really surprised I don't hear a lot about this, because this is kind of giving you an in-between of the Peak design and the nomadic feel, and the nice utility, but it's like half the cost of those bags if we're talking about the upper tiers to, like, you know, be able to fit clothes and tons of camera gear. Looking back at the Lowepro as far as functionality from the outside, it's one of those things. Once again, we're losing out on some really nice things. So we don't have any kind of tripod holder on the side, which is, it bums me out. It's my favorite place to put the tripods. But what Lowepro wants you to do is use all of these little like hooking systems on the outside. So it comes with a couple of straps, so you can strap down a tripod to the back, which kind of just, you know, it's in the back. It'll stay secure, but it's not an easy place. Whereas like you can kind of grab it out the side on one like this. This one you do have to take your backpack off to get to that. It's really frustrating. Also, if you want a water bottle, you're kind of just stuck hanging the water bottle. It's bouncing around. And so that's not great, but that's their solution on this bag. Now, what is nice is you have a lot more options as far as accessing your camera gear on the inside. So you actually have just this top section, which will go straight into the top of the camera bag, where you can just keep a body, as well as a couple of memory cards or batteries just up front at the top. So, you know, you're taking off the bag, but you can get in from the top without unzipping the entire thing. And then you have complete versatility, whether it's the left side or the right side. You can actually open it up and get to your camera gear from the left. Same thing, if you want to keep your camera gear on the right, you can flip it, keep your camera gear on the right. I just have a pin in here right now, because I'm using my camera gear to film. We also have these two upper straps, which don't allow you to access the inside of the bag, but it does just give you some extra places to put phones or wallets. You do get two of them on this one, as opposed to only one slot to really fit stuff in on the Onemo. And then if you're hiking with the belt strap or not, Lowepro does make accessories to hold like water bottles or your phone. It has little kind of zippers right here where you can keep like maybe, you know, a small phone or some credit cards, something to easy access just from the belt. Now on the straps, we do have things that look very similar to what holds the lens caps on the Lowepro, but they're all the same size. None look like they'll fit a big lens cap. Maybe if you're a Fuji shooter or a Micro Four Thirds shooter, you can keep one of your caps in here, but they don't feel as springy either, so I'm not sure how much they're gonna lock down. I'm not sure if that's what they're for, so use that at your own risk. And just once again, there's not really many places to tuck away all these dangly straps, which kind of drives me crazy at this point after coming from a backpack like Venta, which was just so minimal and nice and clean. But that's kind of the high notes about these bags, and now the question is, which one should you get? I would like to point out, after hiking with both of these, this one's just a lot easier to clean. It does pick up dirt a little quicker because of the material, but you can just take like a damp cloth and wipe it off, and because it's like this kind of like hybrid leathery, plasticky kind of tarpy material, it just wipes right off. Whereas this one, because it's like a lot of fibers, you do have to kind of like scrub it a bit more. I've managed to get them both clean every time, but that's just something to note. And now for the end of this video, after spending like a month with both of these bags, which one should you get? This was such a hard decision for me. I really thought I was gonna get the Onemo. Just after researching it, I almost didn't even order this one. I thought this was like kind of like, you know, GG, well played. I'm going with the Onemo bag. It just looks sleek. It looks nice. I love the utility. I love the things like the little battery indicators and all of that. I like the inside, how it looks more updated. I like being able to keep, you know, the lens caps on the straps, everything like that. But after using it in practice for what I do, which is a lot less of corporate video and a lot more of running around and hiking and running and gunning and stuff like that, I think I'm going to end up going with the Lowepro. Once again, it's easier to keep clothes in here because of this expandable storage, but I can really just go on the inside and kind of mod this bag and keep my clothes on like the lower tier and then keep my camera stuff on the upper tier. It's a little more work on my part because it's not designated on its own, but I can still do that in here, so it's not really holding me back. Nothing's really holding me back on the Lowepro, whereas here there are some stuff that holding me back. I'm gonna be carrying my bag around and running through these hills and running through these mountains, and I'm 31. My lower back, like, you do film for a while, your lower back's gonna start to hurt. You kind of use like the bottom of your back like a gimbal in some instances to kind of keep the camera more stable. And because of that, I'm getting a lot more concerned with, you know, just overall being comfortable. And so that's why I think I'm going with the Lowepro. It's coming down to a comfort thing for me. The Lowepro isn't really held back from doing anything that the OneMo can do, but the OneMo is held back from doing things the Lowepro can do. And even though I have to work a little harder on some of the aspects of that with the Lowepro and kind of mod it myself, I just don't have an option for a really nice waist strap on this one. I just have the little nylon ones provided, and that's not gonna cut it. And so for me, the Lowepro is the way to go. But to make this a little easier, which one should you get? I would say if you're in corporate environments and you're not wearing this thing for, you know, too long amounts of time, you know, you can get on a plane, all of that stuff, but if you're not running around with a bunch of camera gear on your back and you want something that can be a little more professional and be a little more geared towards travel and not just camera stuff, though primarily camera stuff, go with the OneMo. You won't be disappointed. It's just a great feel. It's great material. Like, it seems really good. It seems like it's gonna hold up over time, and it has a lifetime warranty, and so as long as, you know, PGYTECH's around, you'll be able to get that lifetime warranty. But if you're someone who just needs a bunch of space for raw camera gear, and you're not so much worried about putting clothes, you just wanna make sure all your camera gear fits, this does have more raw space for camera gear. If you're someone who has kind of a worse back and needs some extra support, or you have a bunch of heavy gear that you're carrying around constantly and you're going to be a little rougher with the bag, the Lowepro is kind of the one to get. And so yeah, it's kind of blew my mind. I really thought I was going with the OneMo before I actually tested them out for a month. They're both astounding bags though, both kind of home runs in their own way, but they're both made for different people, and so for that reason there's not like really a clear winner, there's just a clear winner for you. And for me, that's the Lowepro backpack. All right, and I think that's kind of the end of the video. It's been a minute since I've made one. Hopefully this is the start of me coming back and doing this more. I think I'm gonna focus more just on broader topics of photo, video, and film. I don't wanna be too crazy technical, but at the same time, I don't wanna be like no technical and just like real world stuff at all. Like I think I'll just kind of live somewhere hybrid in between. Leave a comment down below if I left out anything, or if you have a favorite backpack that I kind of like looked over in the $200 price range. I'd love to like look at more. I still have a little bit of time to return both of these if I don't want either. And so yeah, that wraps this up. The sun's going down. We're almost completely out of light. Excuse all the exposure changes that happened during this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.